wanted to start with my mum and dad. This is them on their wedding day. They got married in 1957 in Woolwich in South London. They then, too, became 6. They had 4 kids. That's me, baby number 3. I like to run even then. I run before I could walk, maybe you could say. And then those 6 became 20 or 21 if you include the dog. So that's us a few years ago in the south of France, having a holiday, lucky, happy people, lots of love, lots of opportunity. Unfortunately, we live in a country where, just like it was when my mum and dad got married in the 50s, if you're born in poverty, you'll probably die in poverty. 1 in 6 children are living in poverty in this country right now. The last year, almost 1 million people have depended on food banks, and absolutely tragically, 1/3 of those have been children. So what's that got to do with digital inclusion? Well, I think actually we live in a divided nation, and the digital divide is really important, but it's also a real opportunity to help us to close that gap. 9.5 million people don't or can't use the internet. Who here has been on the internet today? Hands up. Yeah. The point is, you live with people who are like you. You live with people who are over there. You live with the lucky, happy people who have holidays in the south of France with other lucky, happy people. So 9.5 million people over there, 41.9 million people in the digitally included side, 40 million of whom use the internet every day. And really, the punchline of my speech today is that we know why they're not online, and we actually know what to do to actually help them to learn how to use the internet. They don't see it's relevant, they're not motivated to use it, they don't have the skills and confidence that they need, and they don't have sustained access. And cost is rapidly going up on the agenda. As more people go onto the internet, those who are left behind are the old and the poor, the disabled, and the people who still leave school without any education. So what do those lucky people do on the sunny side of the street? Well, you'd be interested to know that they search and they email, some of them shop, but only about 50% bank and use social media. So again, who's used social media today? Yeah, exactly. So we are not even representative of those people who live on the sunny side of the street. So we know what to do. This tree tells us how we can do it to cross that bridge and to help those people who are digitally excluded to reap the benefits of jobs. You can't really apply for a job, even a low-skilled job nowadays, if you're not online. 72% of employers say that they won't employ someone for a basic level job that does not include using computers or the internet if they don't have basic digital skills. If you're online, you actually save £440 more a year than those who are offline. Yet again, it's an example in our society where the people who have get more because they have more of the opportunities. And public services, the government is going to save £1.7 billion a year by moving public services online, which of course those 9.5 million people won't know how to use. So we live in a divided nation where there's social exclusion, inequality, poverty, lack of opportunity, and digital inclusion is just another one of those lacking of opportunity. So I'm the Chief Executive of Tinder Foundation. We're a staff-owned mutual and social enterprise based in Sheffield, where we work UK-wide, and our purpose is to make good things happen through digital technology. And I'd just like to say how proud I am to come from Sheffield and to come here with all of the wonderful, talented people already have spoken, and also all of you as well. We're going to be 3 on the 1st of December, yay. I think, you know, when you kind of get to that 3rd year, you kind of think, well, maybe we might be around for a bit longer. And these are some of the things that we've achieved. So we've helped 1.3 million people in that period to gain basic online skills. And some of the things I'm not going to talk about really is that we work with NHS England to help people actually move to digital health, and we also do something called English My Way, which is about helping people with very, very basic levels of English language to learn English online. So, local plus digital plus scale, that's our strategy in a strapline. 1.3 million people is quite a lot of people to help, 40 people in Sheffield. You know, we work pretty hard, we're pretty good, but actually we can't do it by ourselves. So what we do is that we actually coordinate, lead and inspire and provide products and services for 5,000 local partners who themselves use 25,000 volunteers to help people in places like libraries, community centres, cafes, places of worship, even mobile learning centres in buses and VW combi vans. We're quite techie, which is quite surprising really if you think about our goal, our mission, is to help those people who don't know how to use the internet. But digital is woven through everything that we do. And this is a fundamental part of it. It's a free online platform with free courses for digital inclusion, financial inclusion, and employability, and much more. And I've already mentioned that we help 1.3 million people because we do it at scale with that network of dedicated community organisations. We can do that at a price of about £30 a head. 132,000 people have volunteered. That saves the economy £137 million a year. 84,000 people have moved from having no job to having a job, saving the nation £678 million a year. And that's, remember, we're a digital inclusion programme, we're not an employability programme, so we're helping people to get those basic skills to then do whatever it is that they need to do, and lots of those people need to get into work. So, there's some big numbers, 1.7 billion, 675 million, big numbers. Wow, that's amazing. So we know how to do it. We know how much we're going to save if we get everybody online. So then the bit that was missing was how much would it cost to do it. So we wrote this report, A Leading Digital Nation by 2020, with an economist called Catherine MacDonald. So if we carry on doing what we do now, which is quite good, we will still have 6.2 million people in the UK who don't have basic online skills. The cost of helping all of those people is £875 million. I believe that that should be shared between the public, the private, and the social sector. And spread over the term of the next government, that's only £50 million each year for 5 years. 1.7 billion on this side, 50 million on that side. I think it's a price worth paying. I like numbers. Hopefully some of you are a bit geeky like me. So that's sort of the punchline of the model. So basically what it says is the people down here who have used the internet a little bit are in a more wealthy social group and changing the matrix based on whether they have a job or whether they have a disability. They're cheap, they're expensive, stick it into a mathematical model, it's all on the web, it's all open source, you can download it, you can put your numbers in it, but the punchline is we can afford it. £50 million a year to the public sector is absolutely important and affordable. 6.2 million people. So their makeup is going to still remain more or less the same. They're going to be disabled, they're going to not have good qualifications, they're going to be older, and they're going to have low household income. But in case you all think this is about old people, and we should just wait until they all die, the mathematical model shows us that in 2020, 5% of everybody in the age group 16 to 64 won't have the basic digital skills that they need to survive and to have good opportunities in our country. I like numbers. I work with people, I have to persuade people to do things who like numbers, but actually saying 1.3 million people, blah, 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 sometimes dehumanizes it. So I also like people, I go out and I actually talk to the people whose lives have changed. Clive is one of them. Clive had a really nice job. He was a toy salesman, he loved it. He lives in the southwest of England, he drove around every day, showing people toys. He was made redundant when he was 56 and thought he'd never work again. He went to his local UK Online Centre, he got online. They not only gave him skills, but they gave him confidence and self-esteem, which meant that he then had that confidence to go on and get a job. He found the whole experience so transformative that Clive, who doesn't earn very much money in the job that he found, now gives some of his monthly income back to that UK Online Centre so they can help other people. And for me, it's an illustration of how transformative that was to his life. I think we should be bold and ambitious. We're the country that spends most per head on online shopping. We're most likely to have the biggest growth in our digital economy. That's better than America. So we're pushing ahead. We're early adopters. We love technology. But we've got so many people left behind. We should be bold and ambitious, and we should invest in a program to get them all included. So this is what the tree looked like in 2000, and that's what it looks like now. The reason I'm showing you this is people say to me, because you're helping 1.3 million people, you're just going for the low-hanging fruit. And so I say to them, well, the low-hanging fruit just keep getting higher up the tree. So you've got to give us some credit that we're helping the low-hanging, high-hanging fruit. So remember, we know how to do it. We know the barriers of motivation, skills and confidence, and sustained access. So this is our model. This is why we can help very hard to reach people. We work en masse with a wide network, not a franchise network, a network that has a similar goal, a shared vision. And then we also do targeted work to make sure that we can get to the depth to help the people who are most excluded. This is our strategy. Digital inclusion is very important. We also help people with learning, because a lot of people who don't know how to use the internet also have other learning needs, such as literacy, numeracy, English as a second language, and also absolutely addressing some of those social challenges. So it's all about finding that sweet spot so we can help people to learn those basic digital skills, but also make sure that we're including them in society and that they're using those digital skills to help them and their families to succeed. So in January, it'll be 30 years since I've started working in online learning. I'm hoping you're all thinking she doesn't look that old. Oh no, that's a narcissist in me, sorry. Back in March 1995, so it's just a couple of months after I started working for an organisation called TTNS, the Times Network for Schools, Ray Hammond wrote in the Times Educational Supplement, "Now that day has arrived, the humble school micro provides a gateway to a world of knowledge so vast that it's breathtaking at its first acquaintance." That was a wonderful machine I was using, the BBC Micro. Yeah, lots of, and partly one of the reasons why we're doing so well as a nation, I'm sure, is because we had all that great people inventing the BBC Micro and today the Raspberry Pi. And that's me back then, in the old days. So my story, I got born like we all did. I had a bit of a phase. You all look a bit young to remember CND, and I hope one or two of you might have had a Nazis Are No Fun badge like I did. So I'm actually too old to have used a computer at school. We did have a computer, it was the size of a room, and only boys played with it, really. I was a bit of a feminist, so I kind of used to go in at lunchtime and say, oh, can you show me how this big room-sized box thing works? They talked to me about binary, and then I went and played netball. So then I started my career, had my own kids, and of course technology now is so amazing that actually it can be in everybody's pocket. It can be in everybody's living room. And that, of course, is why we then created Tinder Foundation. But I'm not interested in what technology we use. I am interested in Nazis being no fun. But what I really want is, we know what we're doing. We know how to get people online. We know we should do it. We know the benefits to the exchequer alone, even if we ignore the benefits to those human beings and their lives, will actually create us a digital nation, an inclusive nation for everybody. Thank you very much.